Job interviews. They can be pretty nerve-wracking, right? But what if you had a clear playbook to turn all that anxiety into pure confidence? Well, that's exactly what we're going to build today. Let's dive right into this step-by-step guide to take you from preparation all the way to payday.
You know, it's a question a lot of us ask, especially when we're just starting out. I mean, you've proved your skills on paper, you've jumped through all their hoops and passed the tests, so why do they still need this face-to-face, kind of high-pressure conversation? It can feel a little pointless, but there's a really, really good reason for it. Because a test score can't show them this. It can't tell them how you'd handle a disagreement on a team, or how you explain a really complex idea, or what you do when something completely unexpected lands in your lap. The interview is where they're looking for actual real-world proof of those skills. And maybe just as important, it's their chance to see if you're someone they'd actually want to work with every day, if you'll vibe with their company culture.
Okay, so knowing that, how do you get ready? Well, that brings us to our first section, your pre-interview game plan. Look, success on interview day, it's all built in the days leading up to it.
Think of your prep work as having 4 key pillars. We're going to walk through every single one, from the questions you should be asking them to the clothes you're going to wear, but let's start with the absolute foundation of it all, doing your homework on the company.
And this isn't just about a quick peek at their homepage, okay? It's about digging a little deeper to find connection points. When you read their About Us page, you're looking for values that you actually share. When you check out recent news about them, you're spotting challenges that you could help them solve. All this research, it becomes the secret ingredient for your answers and for the smart questions you're going to ask them later.
We all know first impressions matter, and honestly, what you wear says a lot before you even open your mouth. So here are the 2 most common dress codes you're likely to run into. On one side, you've got business professional. That's the full suit, super formal standard for places like law firms or big finance companies. Then you've got business casual, way more common in places like tech, a bit more relaxed but still nice and polished. The golden rule? When in doubt, it is always better to be a little overdressed than underdressed. Always. So, you're prepared, you look the part, awesome. But what about answering those tricky, tell me about a time when questions? Well, that brings us to our second section, mastering the STAR method. Think of this as your secret weapon.
The STAR method is basically just a simple framework for telling a good story. It takes your experiences and organizes them into a clear, compelling little narrative that proves you've got the skills they're looking for. It's what stops you from rambling and helps you get right to the point.
First up is S for situation. This is your setup, the opening scene of your story. You just give enough context so the interviewer knows what's going on. Keep it quick, keep it clear.
Next, you've got T for task. What was the specific challenge? What was the goal that you were responsible for hitting? This part defines your role in the story and explains what was at stake.
Then comes A for action. This is the heart of your story. You need to describe the specific steps you took, not what your team did, what you did. This is your moment to really show off your skills and your initiative.
And finally, R for result. Every good story needs a great ending, right? So what was the positive outcome? And if you can, use numbers. I saved the company money is okay, but I reduced project costs by 15%? That's powerful. Numbers really stick.
And here it is, the whole method in action. It's brilliant. Situation: the MC got sick. Task: as the manager, I had to step up. Action: I prepped, practiced, and delivered. And the result? A very specific, quantifiable £78,000 in sales, plus some personal growth. See? It's a perfect, punchy, and super impactful story.
All right, now that you've got your stories ready to go, let's talk about the day itself. Section 3 is all about performing under pressure and just handling the interview with confidence and poise. Now, these might seem like really small details, but trust me, they add up to create a huge impression. For instance, showing up a few minutes early isn't just about respecting their time, it gives you a moment to calm your own nerves. And remember this, the interview starts the second you walk into the building. Being polite to everyone, from the receptionist to some random person you pass in the hall, it shows your character. It's those little acts of professionalism that can make all the difference.
So you've aced the interview. You get the offer. You might be thinking, whew, I'm done. But the most important part might actually still be ahead of you. Welcome to Section 4, the art of negotiation. Just let this number sink in for a second. 42%. Workers with just 0 to 2 years of experience are a whopping 42% more likely to be underpaid.
And why is that? Well, it's often because they just don't negotiate that first salary offer. This is such a critical moment for your entire career.
So here's the bottom line. The moment you have that job offer in hand is the moment you have the most power, the most leverage. They've already decided they want you. Now it's time for you to advocate for what you're actually worth, because if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no.
You see, a successful negotiation isn't about just demanding more money. It's about demonstrating your value. So you build a case for yourself. You use hard data from salary websites. Use those awesome accomplishment stories you've prepped. And you frame your request around what they need. So instead of just saying, "I'd like more," you say something like, "Based on the market rate for this role and my proven ability to, say, increase customer signups, I'm confident that a salary of X is a more accurate reflection of the value I'll bring to the team." See the difference?
But for so many of us, there's this huge mental hurdle to doing that. It's this feeling that maybe we're not as good as people think, that we don't really deserve to ask for more. Does that sound at all familiar?
Yeah, that feeling has a name. It's called imposter syndrome. It's that nagging little voice in your head that says you're a fraud, and any minute now, someone's going to expose you. The best way to fight this is to ground yourself in the facts. Literally write down your achievements. Reread them. Your accomplishments are real, and they have real, tangible value.
So, after all the prep, the storytelling, and the performance, it all comes down to this one question. You've proven your skills, you've shared your wins, now you have to decide what your value is and have the confidence to ask for it. So, what is your story truly worth?